mysterious Göbekli Tepe. This ancient site boasts massive stone structures and rewrites our understanding of history. But how old is it really? Some say much older, others much younger. Today we crack the code and reveal the truth behind Göbekli Tepe's age. Welcome to your channel, which reveals archaeological and historical mysteries. Before starting, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel to receive all new updates. I've seen a few comments over the past few days that have questioned the dating of Göbekli Tepe, with some people believing the site is actually much older and some believing it's much younger. Some people have even said they've never seen any radiocarbon data published. Well, a simple Google search not only brings up a blog post about the subject written by the German Archaeological Institute, but also a paper by archaeologist Oliver Dietrich. So the information is available, and really it's not hard to find if you want to see it. Accurate data is even listed on Wikipedia. As you may already know, the oldest part of Göbekli Tepe comprises the circular enclosures with the famous T-shaped pillars. The foundations of these pillars are in a layer that also contains specific types of projectile points, all of which are very characteristic of the pre-pottery Neolithic period, a period that dates between 9600 BC and 8800 BC. Superimposing and surrounding the nucleus of the site are later rectangular domestic structures. As well as having a different shape, these buildings have smaller pillars, and the lithic finds are characteristic of the early to mid-pre-pottery Neolithic B. Interestingly, there are no lithics from the late pre-pottery Neolithic B, meaning this is likely when the site went out of use, around the time of the onset of agriculture in the region. For reference, the pre-pottery Neolithic B, as a whole, is dated to 8800 BC to 7000 BC. So before we even get to radiocarbon dating, the specific types of archaeological finds, which are well understood and dated from other sites in the region, already gave the experts a good indication of how old the structures were at Göbekli Tepe. Of course, though, radiocarbon dating was also undertaken. Archaeologists had to take into account that the oldest element of the site, the circular enclosures, were filled in later in their history, likely centuries after they were constructed. A process that looks to have begun because of natural slope slides and then finished off by human activity whilst the site was still active. Because the fill of the circular enclosures was added at the end of their lives, it could contain artifacts far younger than the time the pillars were erected, or, depending on the origins of the material used to fill the enclosures, it could contain even older material. Therefore, dating the organic remains in the fill won't give us a truly reliable date for the construction of the site. With that in mind, radiocarbon dates must be sought elsewhere. Well, archaeologists sampled loam that was found in the wall plaster in the enclosures. Loam contains small amounts of organic material, and one sample from the wall plaster of enclosure D gave a calibrated date range of 9745 to 9314 BC with a 95.4% confidence. This gives the enclosure a pre-pottery Neolithic lithic origin. 80 more samples have also been dated, but as far as I know, are yet to be published. But I don't believe that anything unusual is expected. Charcoal recovered directly adjacent to the ring wall of enclosure D has also been dated between 9664 to 9331 BC, which is in agreement with the measurements on a clay mortar that was taken from the ring wall of enclosure D between pillars 41 and 42. The dates came back between 9984 and 9314 BC. So in summary, all the data so far related to enclosure D point towards a construction date of roughly 11,500 years ago, or the mid-10th millennium BC. More radiocarbon dates were obtained from enclosure D, but this time from the fill, including an animal tooth and charcoal. Dates range from 9,800 to 8,700 BC. For enclosure C, only one sample has been tested from an area between the outermost ring walls of the enclosure and very close to the bedrock. The date range was 9,261 to 9,139 BC, so slightly after enclosure D. More organic remains from the fills have been tested, including 3 samples of charcoal from enclosure A, 2 of which come from short-lived plants. These gave a date between the late 10th and earliest 9th millenniums BC.